morning, welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Ashingsani Veerasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines for today. European Union promises a $40 million grant to the Ministry of Agriculture. Number of dengue cases is on the rise with nearly 90 deaths during the year. News in detail. Ambassador of the European Union to Sri Lanka, Dennis Chaibi, while appreciating the manner the presidential election was conducted, requested permission to monitor the upcoming general election too by the European Union elections monitors. EU ambassador also promised a $40 million grant to the Ministry of Agriculture for its innovative projects.
Ambassador of the European Union to Sri Lanka, Dennis Chaibi, along with ambassadors from France, Italy, Romania and Germany, met Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees yesterday. The envoys from the EU discussed a number of key areas of cooperation, development assistance in the agricultural sector and the conducting of an investor dialogue. They also discussed the status of development projects and investments their respective countries have with Sri Lanka and all expressed interest in promoting new investments and tourism.
There was an election observation mission of the EU present for the presidential elections. And I think that the work and especially the cooperation with the Electoral Commission went really well. And we would be interested, if you are interested, to have also an election observation mission for the parliamentary elections. So we would like to continue with this. A second point that is directly under your purview, it is agricultural development. President Rajapaksa mentioned that in his speech, the SDGs and the agricultural development. We had a meeting with Professor Perish, also that was mentioned. So in this regard, the EU, part of its overall 200 million euro envelope for the financial cycle, has about $40 million project for budget support in agriculture. So it is not a specific project. It is to put $40 million in the Ministry of Agriculture and to see how this can be spent by the Sri Lankan authorities. So the choice of project is the Sri Lankan authorities, but there are four kind of criteria for that, and we are working on them with your administration. The first one is an overarching agricultural policy, and I know that your administration has worked a lot. Now it needs to be adopted, and that is directly under your responsibility. So if there's an interest, we're really ready to work very fast with you on that.
As per the Purchasing Managers Index for the month of November by the Central Bank, all the sub-indices indicated an expansion yet at a slower pace compared to October 2019. New orders and production have expanded at a slower rate, mainly due to the slowdown in manufacturing of textile and wearing apparel. Employment sector also slowed down marginally in line with these developments.
Although the new orders and production expanded at a slower pace, the stock of purchases expanded at a higher rate due to intended accumulation of stocks to fulfill the future requirements, anticipating supply delays due to upcoming Christmas and New Year holidays. Central Bank report also said that supplies delivery time reached a neutral level, indicating that it remains the same as in the previous month. Accordingly, manufacturing PMI expanded in November this year, recording an index value of 56, mainly due to the expansion in new orders, production and employment. However, the services PMI reached a 16-month high to 57.4 index points in November, supported by the expansion in new businesses, business activity and expectations for activity. The strongest growth was observed in expectations for activity, which posted the highest index value since June 2015. Respondents cited that they expect a greater stability in the political front while being positive on their business growth underpinned by new tax revisions. Further, the upcoming peak season for tourism, festive season and the holiday season are expected to contribute favorably towards their businesses during the period ahead. New businesses increased, yet at a slower rate compared to the previous month, while business activities increased along with new technology-based expansions. The increase in business activities were notable in accommodation and financial services sectors. Despite the increase in employment in sectors such as accommodation, wholesale, retail, trade and personal services, the index on employment of the services sector continued to remain below the 50 threshold level for the 8th consecutive month.
State Minister of Technology and Innovation Tilanga Sumathipala stresses that the expertise of the professionals and subject experts coupled with government's patronage is required to make the country in par with the global standards of technology and growth. He made these observations addressing an inauguration ceremony of a symposium held in Malabé today. Fourth Biennial Research Symposium of Industrial Technology Institute was ceremonially inaugurated at the ITI in Malabé today, and it will go on till tomorrow. Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation Dr. Bandula Gunawardana and State Minister of Technology and Innovation Tilanga Sumathipala participated as the invitees at the event. This biennial research symposium was organized under the theme of Excellence in Science, Technology and Innovation for Sustainable Development, with the view of sharing and dissemination of knowledge created through research carried out by ITI scientists. The event saw many local foreign academics, and the keynote address titled Science and Innovations, Where to Start was delivered by the Professor in Civil Engineering at the University of Moratuwa, Professor R.U. Halwatura. Meanwhile, outstanding performances of ITI researchers were also appreciated during the award ceremony.
Our responsibility is to make sure we look at the global standards and where the globalized technology is being looked into, and then make sure in the region Sri Lanka is placed where it deserves to be, and look at the gap where we are not very strong, where we are a little weaker, and also where we are strong. We make sure that based on our natural resources and the human capital available, that we go through with the roadmap where we can achieve our respective targets within a set time frames. If you don't know where we are, it is impossible for us to find out where we want to go without knowing our strategic business plan to get there. The roadmap has to be based on study. The studies can only be done by professionals who are experienced, knowledgeable and trained to do research based on some scientific evidence.
National Dengue Control Unit states that the number of dengue cases is on the rise, with at least 90 deaths and more than 88,000 cases reported so far this year. Thus, districts which reported high number of cases include Colombo, Gampaha, Kaluthara, Kandy, Matale, Jaffna and Badulla.
According to the Epidemiology Unit statistics, the cases of dengue in Colombo this year rose to 18,237 compared to 10,258 reported last year. In the Gampaha district this year, 13,758 cases were reported compared to 5,857 cases last year. National Dengue Control Unit Director Dr. Anuja Sekara said dengue epidemic had increased after the rains in recent weeks. Dr. Anuja Sekara also noted that suspected dengue patients are advised to seek treatment even after day of fever in view of the identification of a new strain of dengue. The strain which was spreading this year was different from the strain which was affected Sri Lanka 2 years ago, and therefore there were only mild differences in symptoms, he further added. Dr. Anuja Sekara also said the National Dengue Control Unit would deploy 1,500 public health officers to carry out inspections in areas where most cases were reported, and that legal action would also be taken against those who had neglected to clear mosquito breeding places.
Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. Speaking on the monetary policy stand that the central bank should adopt, former central bank governor and senior advisor on economic affairs to the Prime Minister, Ajit Niwad Cabral, emphasizes that the central bank should maintain price stability in order to have steady growth. Former central bank governor Cabral made these recommendations speaking exclusively to Art Television.
We need to have price stability. Price stability is a function, an objective of the central bank which has been specified by law. So, economic and price stability means that you will have stable prices, you will have a stable exchange rate, you will have stable economic conditions. Now, that is the most important part of ensuring that there is a steady growth in an economy. If you have unstable conditions, then you have very little chance of moving in the right direction. So, my bottom line would be, whatever we may call our policies, we have to achieve price stability, achieve economic stability, achieve financial system stability. If you were focused on that overall goal and you are moving towards that objective, you will find that what you do within that to achieve those goals will be all secondary, which needs to be done, and that can fluctuate, change during the different times. But finally, we have to achieve what is known as these objectives that I just mentioned.
You can watch the full interview of Ajit Niwad Cabral from our new program, The Biz Watch, tomorrow at 10 p.m. Moving on, Foreign Secretary Ravinatha Aryasinghe calls for the regaining of Sri Lanka's economic prominence in Egypt to its traditional strength, consistent with the shared history, excellent bilateral political relations and the collaborative role the two countries play in the multilateral sphere.
Foreign Secretary Ravinatha Aryasinghe made this observation last week addressing the inaugural session of the bilateral political consultations between Sri Lanka and Egypt at the Egyptian Foreign Ministry in Cairo. The session was co-chaired by the Egyptian Assistant Foreign Minister for Asia, Ambassador Hani Salim. It was recalled at the discussions that while in the 1980s Sri Lanka provided 60% of Egypt's tea requirement, it had presently dropped to only 5% following the imposition of high tariffs and later the emergence of regional trading blocs in Africa. On the other hand, tourism was identified as a potential growth area, while modalities to ensure sustainable investment flows were also discussed during the consultations. To this end, it was also agreed to revive the Egypt-Sri Lanka Business Council, originally founded in 2004, and to reconvene the Joint Commission on Trade and Economic Cooperation, which last met in 2002. Egypt has also requested Sri Lankan investors to invest in the field of agriculture, tourism, textile and garment industries, communication and information technologies, oil refinement, while Sri Lanka welcomed Egyptian investors to the Colombo port city. The possibility was explored for Sri Lanka to obtain know-how in the development of medical tourism and to build bridges between the youth in both countries through enhanced participation of Sri Lanka youth in World Youth Forum in Egypt.
Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority organized Vidulka National Energy Symposium and Innovation Forum last Friday and Saturday to create high-level dialogue on energy research in realizing the national objective of driving towards realizing carbon neutrality in 2050. Meanwhile, parallel to the symposium, a fleet of electric three-wheelers powered by solar energy was launched by the Minister of Transportation, Power and Energy, Mahinda Amravira.
Accordingly, Vidulka National Energy Symposium and Innovation Forum was held last Friday and Saturday at the BMICH from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. This year, the symposium was held under the theme of Sustainable Energy Future, showcasing the inputs from the researchers in the universities, research institutes, professional bodies, etc. Meanwhile, the Innovation Forum, which was held on the second day, was solely dedicated to solar energy, while research work under a wide spectrum in energy was presented in the symposium. On the other hand, a fleet of 4 electric three-wheelers powered by solar energy was deployed for public use on last Friday under the Minister of Transportation, Power and Energy, Mahinda Amravira. These electric three-wheelers, named as e-trikes, are a part of a Korean Energy Agency's assistance to Sri Lanka through the Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority of the Ministry of Power and Energy. The project was designed to utilize the existing solar photovoltaic installation atop the roof at BMICH to operate an electric vehicle charging station. The 4 e-trikes will be initially used to provide in-compound transport to public, as BMICH is a facility which spans a large extent of land. Thereby, on realization of registration of the e-trikes with Registrar of Motor Vehicles, it will be deployed on short trips.
With great support from SCA, the Korea Energy Agency has successfully built up a PV charging station at BMICH with a donation of 4 electric three-wheel vehicles. So SCA and KEA, we will together expand this current project to the next year to build another PV charging station with other donation of our e-trikes, further develop closer and strategic partnership with the SCA and Sri Lankan government. Lastly, the main objective and aim of this project is to lead Sri Lanka to sustainable energy paradigm in the future.
Kalani Valley Plantation won the Overall Excellence Gold Award at the National Business Excellence Awards 2019, organized by the National Chamber of Commerce in Sri Lanka.
National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka, with the view to recognizing business enterprises which have demonstrated excellence in business whilst contributing to the economic progress of the country, organized the 16th edition of the National Business Excellence Awards 2019 in Colombo last Friday. The event was graced by the Chief Guest, High Commissioner of South Africa, Robina Patricia Marks, and many other distinguished invitees from the corporate and business world who participated at the event. Meanwhile, Kalani Valley Plantation won the Overall Excellence Gold Award, Sri Lankan Catering won the Silver Award for the Overall Business Excellence, while Jet Holdings bagged the Bronze Award in the same category. Kalani Valley Plantation also received the Best Performance Award in the Extra Large category. On the other hand, Hema's Hospitals won the Best Performance Award for the Large category, while Quality Seed Company and Mike Biotech Asia won awards for medium and small categories respectively.
It could be said that this significant awards competition, the National Business Excellence Awards, is unique and one of a kind. The Chamber's objective of conducting this competition is to enhance the standards of excellence in all Sri Lankan enterprises, and the winners to become an inspiration and a role model to other companies to emulate. The Chamber's intention is to guide organizations with new evaluation schemes to attain the levels of excellence that are appropriate with global companies.
Stay tuned for stock updates after this short break. Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 5.33 points to close at 6,062.33, and the S&P SL20 gained 9.12 points to close at 2,945.29. The turnover was 240 million rupees and over 7 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex rates. That's all the news for today. Join us tomorrow at the same time. Until then, take care. Good night.